have those bourbons that we first bought when we started our bourbon journey, and some of them we don't drink anymore, some of them we still drink, but we decided to pull ours out.
Call me a tater because of what I have on the table here.
We kind of wanted to look back and see which bottles we first bought when we started our journey.
Yep.
Both of ours are different because you started your journey significantly before I did, and then I came in after and, well, of course, fell in love. But it's kind of fun to look back and see what we've got on the table here, what started us out, and then see if we're still drinking that stuff. So
yeah, and some of these bottles are the actual original ones we had. Some of them are just replacements or newer versions of said bottles. We're gonna go through mine first since I started my journey in a 2017-ish for bourbon. Started Scotch before that. So
bourbon was way cheaper then.
It was cheaper and you could actually find stuff. So that was nice. And I was gonna say you can call me a tater because I think one of the first bottles I bought is this one. Not this particular bottle, Eagle Rare. I remember buying an Eagle Rare and a a Willet 3-year rye, I think at the time. Don't have that one anymore. We don't drink Willet rye. But the Eagle Rare, and here I'm just gonna bring out all the Buffalo Trace stuff because I just went full on taterdom. Stag Junior Batch 8. This is actually the original bottle because we haven't finished it because savoring it.
Yeah, we're savoring because it's literally one of the best. So good.
Weller 12. Antique 107. And an Elmer.
Who are you?
Yeah, it was nice because it kind of had a relationship with the store, and you'll see another bottle or two from that store here coming up. Again, these aren't original ones, but I had a relationship with the store, and I went in there, and I was able to get these basically at retail all the time. Not all the time, but when I got them. And so, yeah, that's kind of my Buffalo Trace taterdom here.
I feel like you definitely, got into the bourbon world at a time where it was much different than it is now.
Yeah, and I got into it actually from weightlifting. The weightlifting, I used to do starting strength online coaching. Now it's Barbell Logic, I think. Those guys were big into whiskey and kind of watched them, and they were all big into the Buffalo Trace stuff, so that's kind of what I gravitated towards. And that kind of... Oh, actually, while I'm thinking about this, there's another bottle from the same store I got a lot of these. Actually, there's two more. I'll just bring those out.
Okay.
So yeah, Buffalo Trace. But the other one I got that I didn't like at first, and then I ended up loving it once we started drinking it. Rhetoric 22. Still have the bottle of it, but it's empty.
It's, oh my gosh, It's so good.
And it's still got the price tag of $115 on there.
Definitely can't get it for that price
got it
anymore.
Same store. And then this one. 1792 single barrel. This one's a 2018 pick from that store. That store doesn't exist anymore. They closed down, which sucks. But yeah, it's just I went kind of crazy, and this is probably half of what I have on the table here. But yeah, this is kind of the Buffalo Trace and some of the other stuff here that I went kind of crazy with when I first started. Because you know me, I kind of go balls to the walls when I start stuff.
It's literally buy once, cry once, go all in.
Except this isn't buy once, it's buy once and once and once and
and
once
once again and once again and once again. But you are like that. Whenever you find something you really love and you're really passionate about, you just go head first in.
So yeah, I went kind of crazy with this. And so okay, so after this, what do we got? We got moving this.
I'm about to take that one. It's so good.
I also got hooked on Michter's American. This was actually, I got hooked on this from, what was it? It was Whiskey Tribe. They were raving on Michter's American. This is actually a 2018, so again, it's older. Got hooked on it. This is still the original bottle, but it's damn good. This is probably the second bottle of this I've had. Just, we have a lot here, so just don't necessarily drink it all the time.
It's kind of funny, before you go on to the next one,
Yep.
It's kind of funny that you bring up, watching the Whiskey Tribe back then, because you watched a lot of YouTubers a long time ago, and that's really where you got a lot of recommendations, especially when you started your journey. So it's proof that even now, people watching that are beginners and new to bourbon and to whiskey, watch YouTubers and get recommendations, because sometimes you'll find somebody that has the right palate that matches yours, and that'll just continue to grow your whiskey repertoire. Is that a word?
Sure. All right, next bottle. We got an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This particular one's a B519. Had an 18 one that I know I finished up recently, but again, these aren't all that I bought right away. These are kind of towards the beginning of my journey. That's why there's some 18s, even though I started my whiskey journey in 17. In addition to this, that's the last at Heaven Hill, the one and only Heaven Hill,
which is crazy.
We're gonna go to some Knob Creek, not Knob Creek, some Beam products. Have 2 Beam products. Got a Knob Creek single barrel. Not this particular one. This is a newer bottle. I had an older one from 2017 from a local store.
That one was so good.
So damn good.
It had the red on it.
It was
like the red writing.
Stout, like rounded, shorter bottle. Yeah, those were really good. And then this is a new bottle because we've gone through a couple of these. OGD 114. Yes. Love OGD 114. This was one of the first bottles I bought probably with like an Antique 107 or Eagle Rare in that.
I'm curious to know how you even knew to buy that, because
again, it was the whiskey stuff I was doing. That's what they drank when I was watching their podcasts or whatever they were doing on YouTube or whatever it was. They were talking about these bottles, so I went and found them.
This is literally a timeless bottle, though.
It is.
It's like one of the most best values in whiskey that you can get, and it's so good all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then after that, move these to the side, and I got 2 more bottles here. 2 more bottles.
I have a few, but not anywhere near.
Yeah, I grabbed a whole lot here.
Well, obviously you started building a collection, so I just tried a lot of yours. But
Midwinter's Night Dram. This is Act 5, so this is an original one. I think it was 2018, 20. I don't remember the exact year on this one. And then we got a Burai. This is a 2016 bottle.
It's kind of fun to compare this one with the newer ones now. I think they just keep getting better and better and better and better.
This is pretty good. we don't go to them that often because there's just so much up there.
I love them though.
That's the end of the bottles I have. Like I said, there's a lot. You can call me a tater based on everything I got with the Midwinters, the Burais, the Buffalo Trace stuff. But it is what it is. It's what I started my journey out with. Do I drink these? Some of them. Not all of them still. Kind of about it.
I drink a lot of those.
We don't go to the Buffalo Trace stuff as much.
No.
But the Heaven Hill, or the Elijah Craig, the OGD, the Eagle Rare from Buffalo Trace, Knob Creeks, that's probably about it of these.
The American whiskey, I wish I drank it more, because when you gave it to me in What's in the Box once, I did not even know. I totally thought it was bourbon. It's American whiskey, but it's really freaking good. Well, before we get into my bottles, if you have not subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave us a comment, and let us know what bottles that you bought when you first started your bourbon journey.
And do you still drink them?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you still drink them?
And if you don't, tell us which ones you don't, because that's kind of interesting too. So, all right. Now, my bottles are super interesting. Obviously, you had a lot of stuff before I came along.
Yep. And stuff was easier to find.
Yeah, because I came along kind of right in the, I wouldn't call it the height of the boom, but kind of the height of the boom, which is end of 2020, 2021.
You started mainly in 2021, because we got together in 2020. You didn't quite drink then, and then it was kind of that summer-ish.
Yeah.
Is when we decided to do the YouTube channel 2021. And then that's kind of when you started.
I feel like at the end of 2020, I was kind of thinking about it, but I wasn't quite there yet. So, all right. So the first bottle I actually bought when you were out of town. I don't know where you were, but you were out of town, and I knew that you really liked Elijah Craig, and I was like, I think I would like Elijah Craig if you like Elijah Craig. So I found this Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B521. And I was like, oh, this could be a good one. It was good. And I liked it. And that was kind of the start of me falling in love with Heaven Hill products. Which is kind of funny when you think about it, because I think a lot of people, when they start into their bourbon journey, they want something a little more low proof, something that's a little less spicy. And I was just like, full send. Give me the spicy stuff.
Well, luckily you got to try a lot of stuff that was here before you actually started buying some bottles. So these are kind of first bottles you bought when we've been together. Well, I guess you did before that. You probably would have bought vodka.
Vodka or rum.
Yeah.
Give me the rum. Okay, so that was the very first bottle I ever bought, and it's funny to look back because I think it might be one of the very first photos on my Instagram page.
Who knows?
When I was like, oh, I got this Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, but I didn't even know what it was at the time. I just thought it was cool. So that was the first one. Then the next one was.
I don't know the order of your stuff. You just got to pull it out.
Well, I'm gonna be a tater now too. So I'm gonna bring out my 2 tater bottles.
Yeah.
So I actually, this one I got because you were like, I saw it on retail. Go buy this.
Yep.
And so I went in and bought it for retail. And I don't know if this is the exact bottle. But
I remember that one because I bought a full proof at that store. And then the next day we went back and they had this, and you bought it.
Yeah, you told me to go in and buy it. I was so scared because it was like, I was like, hi, I just wanted to know if you guys like have any allocated bottles. That's what I said. I'm like, do you guys have any allocated bottles? Like, do you have any of that E.H. Taylor in that tube? And the lady was like, we sure do. And I said, oh, could I have one of those? And so she gave it to me, and I was so excited because I really had no idea what the heck allocated was at that time and like why it was hard to find this. So I was excited to get this, and it was good, especially when I started my journey. I don't know if I drink it as much anymore. But I do like it.
We've gone through some bottles of E.H. Taylor small batch.
Yeah.
That's one of them. We usually will pick them up if they're around. Granted, we have a couple around here, so it just kind of depends. But we'll pass on them most of the time. Go back. We'll pass on them most of the time. We'll pick them up if we need another bottle.
Right, if we run out and if we see it at retail. Yep. Because it's good. I really just like the cherry vanilla flavor to it. Reminds me of like a cherry vanilla Coke. So there's that. Now I'm going to move that one and talk about this one. This one is funny. So this was the very first bottle that I fell in love with, like on the shelf. This is the one that started my whole entire bourbon journey. Like the first bottle I had was Scotch. You guys know that story. But the very first bottle that started my bourbon journey was not this particular bottle, but it was a bottle of Blanton's that Bill had because I tried it and I was like, oh, this is really good. It's really easy to drink. And I wanted the bottle because it looked cool, right?
Yep.
Easy sell for a beginner in bourbon.
And
like
you got it at that same store. You got that E.H. Taylor just like a month later or something like that.
Oh, so this was funny. I go in there and I ask about allocated bottles, and this was not, like you said, not long after I got that one, and it was from the same store. And I was like, do you have any allocated bottles today? And she's like, I have a Blanton's. And I'm like, oh, a Blanton's? Okay, so this is really funny because I, again, didn't know allocated, didn't know how much that stuff cost. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, I'll take it. And she's like, it's $90. I'm like, that sounds great. And I get out of the store and I'm so proud, and I call Bill and I'm like, I got a Blanton's. And
I was like, you paid too much for it.
You were like, oh, how much did you pay? And I was like, $90. You're like, oh my God. You're like, you should have paid like 50 or 60, but that's okay. I was excited. I found it. And I don't know if this is obviously not the particular bottle because we've drank some of them. So I don't know. I thought that was cool.
Yep.
So now moving on to my next bottle.
Just bring out the next group because they're all very similar.
So this is funny. As you can tell, I had a very slight obsession with one particular place in Indiana.
There's another one over there.
Oh, yep. And that particular place in Indiana would be MGP.
Yep.
I learned early on that I am a huge fan of MGP. MGP, Indiana. So all of these bottles, different brands, they were all distilled in Indiana by MGP.
Yeah, and I think these three were in your whiskey of the year for 2021.
My very first whiskey of the year.
Did this one win it? Well, not this particular bottle. This is a different batch.
Bottle, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might have, but one of these two finished.
There's one of these
top.
three. I can't remember which one.
And then I loved the Stellum. But I don't think I don't drink this one anymore because it just is really, really sweet to me now. But my palate changed a lot over time. But these, I love Penelope. And then one of my very other first bottles was Remus.
Very other first bottles in addition to all these.
Was Remus 5. Again, I liked the MGP. I knew that. Yeah, the Penelope, the Stellum, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get this Remus 5. Turns out it's like one of the best Remuses. Remi? It's one of the best Remus ever. And this is obviously not the first bottle we've had of it.
No, it's like the third.
So, love it. It's fantastic. It's good. Do I have any more?
This one right here.
Oh, and this
the one closest to you.
This was one we bought actually at the same time as the same weekend. We bought this one and this one. And this one, I think.
I don't remember.
I don't know, but I was so excited. I got this one. This was a Copper Sky Light Whiskey. It is 140.4 proof. So hazmat whiskey to start my bourbon journey.
16 years old, I think.
Yeah. 16-year-old light whiskey.
Yep.
I said that I bought a 16-year light whiskey to start my bourbon journey, but this is not bourbon. This is whiskey, but still.
Close enough.
It's close enough. It's fantastic. So, yeah, these were my bottles. I was on that Buffalo Trace MGP train early on, and honestly, it hasn't changed for me. Like, I still drink all of these, and I still love MGP, and I still, I like certain Buffalo Trace products. I like Buffalo Trace store picks the most, though. And Eagle
No,
Rare.
Stag Junior.
Okay, I like
And I
that.
still call it Junior. I'm sorry. It's
always
always
gonna
going
be
to be
Stag
Stag Junior.
All right, well, that's all the bottles that we've got to show you today. I think this was kind of fun to go back and reflect and
Reminisce.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to talk about how your journey started and how we ended up here. So that's all we've got for you today. We hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'm Dara.
I'm Bill.
And we'll see you next time, right back here on The Average Drinker.